Hello, glad to see you again on our CAS.AI channel. As I mentioned last time, today we will continue exploring which channels we can use to acquire traffic for casual and hyper-casual games, and we will also take a closer look at the statistics. Today I will show you examples of the games we acquire traffic for, the KPIs we set for these projects, and which networks perform best in this context. Last time we talked about this, and today I will briefly remind you, for a game to go into production and for us to start acquiring traffic, we need to keep in mind the key game metrics. What is our playtime? What is our retention? And today I will also show you the actual retention rates at which our different games are being acquired. We will look at which geos and top performing geos are giving the best results. Right now you can currently see our dashboard with Tenjin on the screen. Let me just gently remind you, all our games are very effectively monetized using our own proprietary mediation platform, CAS, Clever Ad Solution, and we use Tenjin as our primary MMP. If you have any questions about what an MMP is, how to use it, or how to set it up, we can do a detailed breakdown of the different dashboards available here and how they can help you with traffic acquisition. Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact I have displayed our two games on the screen. Both are racing games that are currently in active acquisition. These are Car Crash Royale and Racing in Car 2021. Right over here you can clearly see 4 subdivisions. These are Android and iOS. Both Android and iOS are in active acquisition. I am just showing you data from the past week, just a bit. Here, as you can see the spend. This is the amount we have spent over the week. You can also see in detail how many users we acquired, specifically the total revenue they generated, as well as our total ad mediation revenue, respectively. I want to pause here and draw your attention to total ad mediation revenue. Why are we focusing on this over other revenue factors? How do we calculate ROAS? And which factors do we emphasize? We also place emphasis on these aspects, since both of our games are focused on ad mediation revenue as a primary source of income. We ensure that our mediation indeed correctly transmits all the revenue generated by users through impression-level data. What happens internally when a user sees our ad? When an ad is shown to them under this ID, we record exactly how much revenue they generated in our analytics. Precisely. We specifically transmit the revenue generated by each and every user for absolutely every ad view. That's why this parameter is indeed key for us. Based on how we evaluate advertising campaigns, what we do, and how we optimize traffic, we, in particular, rely on this metric. For each game and platform, we have specific KPIs tailored to the game, like, for example, indeed for our racing game Royale, it is important for us that the user generates 48% initially of the revenue on day 0. If we talk about other parameters, it's approximately around 45-48% in terms of the revenue generation on day 0. If we are talking completely and totally about hyper-casual products, depending on the game, platform, and retention, this percentage can vary in nature. It also depends on whether the game has in-app purchases or is monetized solely through ads. Generally, if you rely only on ad monetization without in-app purchases and have low retention, then this raw percentage should be higher. For hyper-casual projects, it can range from approximately 60 to 80%. This is the ROAS goal for day 0. Next, I want to show you some interesting and detailed statistics on the retention rates of these games. If we look at iOS, you can clearly see that the first day retention on iOS is significantly higher. We shouldn't focus on the 7th day data here because the user cohort is not yet complete. The statistics I used are from the past week. Our highest retention rate is approximately 30% on the first day for our racing game, which is one of our key products. This is on the iOS platform. On Android, the retention rate is significantly lower, which is something we optimize for and take into account when acquiring users. I mentioned earlier that we base our approach on the ROAS goal for day 0, and here you can clearly see the actual ROAS goal we have for each game. But we need to understand how good the users generated by each network are and how to effectively optimize traffic. And here, with examples, we can see what kind of acquisition is happening for each project. Here we can see that Mintegral is actively acquiring users for us. The YSO network, Unity, and accordingly the ROAS goal on day 0 for each of these networks. The best performer for us is Mintegral. It brings us users who significantly generate 50% of the revenue on day 0. YSO is also performing very well for us. Unity is performing slightly worse for us. Why is that, and why don't we turn off such ad campaigns? Because we are currently running tests there. When we initially launch a new ad campaign on Unity, we first need to initiate CPI campaigns and support them effectively for a certain period of time so that the algorithm can learn and gather a sufficiently large number of events over time. And then we can effectively switch such campaigns to ROAS optimization, and optimization brings revenue for us. Let's look at the second racing, and this is iOS. Here, our ad campaigns have just launched. They are in the learning phase, so the ROAS goal percentage is lower. Once they have just learned, we will switch them to ROAS. This way, in a strategic manner, we will acquire users who generate the most optimal amount of revenue for us. What about Android? For this project, our key performance indicator, KPI, for metrics is approximately 48%. Users must generate revenue on day 0. As you can see, Mintegral is certainly giving us even more, meaning all the traffic coming from Mintegral meets the KPI. And just a couple of days ago, we connected a new source. We integrated Meta. We are also running small-scale tests and trials here to see how they will pay off, and experiments to determine. I also want to show that if we dive into Mintegral, we can look at the advertising campaigns and the tiers where we are buying traffic and how they are segmented. These are ROAS campaigns specifically for Tier 2, a worldwide campaign, and a separate campaign for Russian-speaking traffic. We also segment the US separately, and we will take a look at another project we currently have on Android, which is also currently running. Our KPI. For this project, our KPI is approximately 62% on day 0. Mintegral again gives us 60%, 3.5 YSO 67. We are also running certain tests on Unity right now. If we select a closed cohort, we can immediately see how the traffic pays off on the first day, the 7th day, and how the cohort closes. That's why we use Tenjin, and with its help, we evaluate the quality of advertising campaigns. If we see that a certain geo is not included in a particular advertising campaign, in our KPI, we can disable certain types of advertising campaigns, how we analyze advertising campaigns, how we evaluate geo, and how we assess organic traffic, we will discuss in the next video. Thank you. Please visit our channel, leave a like, and write comments under this video.